Hello, my name is Connor McLaren, and this is Voices of Indy.
Scuffs, the music muffs, and now it's just me and Cecelia. Oh, how I've missed this room.
And welcome to Season 3. We are keeping it rolling, guys. With me is singer-songwriter Connor McLaren. I'm very excited to have you on the show, Connor.
Thank you.
I've been listening to your debut album, Innocence. It's really good.
Thank
and I
you.
definitely want to be talking about it because the stories that you have about how that whole thing came together is pretty incredible. And you are currently working on your second project.
Yep. Yes, I am.
All right. So, let's get started here real quick. And first of all, tell me me and those of us listening/watching, a little bit about yourself and your story and how you got discovered.
Yeah. When I was like 15 or 16, I just became obsessed with this song called Lizzie by Ben Queller.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard it like driving with my parents one day. They put this playlist on, and that song was on there. And I went home and just became obsessed with his debut album, and I just like could not stop listening to it. It was the first album that I like loved.
Really?
Yeah, it was the
that's
first
so
album.
cool.
Yeah.
I love that moment.
Right.
Like
it's such a cool
so
moment.
special.
Yeah. And I've had it with other records, but that was the first one that it was like the whole record was unskippable to me.
Yeah. It struck a chord.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And I mean, what he was talking about, I felt. And I started like going on YouTube and looking at interviews of him and stuff, and like he made songwriting seem so easy, I guess. So I started doing it, and I didn't even know how to play guitar, and I would just write songs. Yeah, my dad, I grew up in a household where my dad played and my brother played, so I could just like go to them and tell them they were playing the wrong chords, So eventually they were like, "You got to learn how to play."
Sure.
So I learned how to play, and I downloaded Instagram so I could follow Ben, see what he was doing, because I was like such a big fan. And he came to the Hi-Fi when I was a senior in high school, and he hadn't toured in like 7 or 8 years because of some personal stuff, and Hi-Fi's was 18 or 21 plus, and I was like 17 at the time, so I couldn't go. So I reached out to like his manager, his booking agent, him, everybody on his label. I reached out to everybody at the Hi-Fi, and I was like, I have to go to the show. There's no negotiation. And I didn't, but I got to go to the sound check.
Okay.
And I got to see Ben play for like 45 minutes, a bunch of songs, and then he walked off stage and talked to me and my brother for probably another 45 minutes, and he walked away and followed me back on Instagram, and every once in a while he'd answer a DM that I sent him, And
That's wild.
Yeah, I would send him songs because I started releasing stuff, and he was like keeping up with it every once in a while. And then when the pandemic happened, he started offering like these Zooms where he would like play a couple songs or like have wine night, and because he wasn't touring. And one of the things he was offering was business consulting, and basically, I just said, will you do songwriting consulting for me instead? Because that's my business.
Sure, yeah.
And I played him a couple songs off that first record, and he was like, wow. And then a couple days later, he was like, do you want to come and record him in Austin? And I went there and recorded 3 songs. It was kind of an audition, I think, and they went really well. He seemed to really like me, and then I came back and did the rest of the record there like 4 or 5 months later. So
That is wild.
Yeah.
See, Now, the story that I saw online
yeah.
is almost as good.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the story that I saw online is that he discovered videos of you guys busking after shows.
Yes. So that was a part of it. That was a part of it.
Okay.
Like when he followed me, that was the thing that intrigued him about me.
Yeah.
Originally, and I think, I mean, I would busk outside of like, the Hi-Fi and Rock the Ruins, and Ruoff even, and all around the Midwest, and just kind of play outside in the parking lots.
That is awesome.
Yeah, give out stickers,
To have that kind of reach.
Yeah.
I mean, and that must have been just truly effective for you. Like, if you're handing out business cards or however, how long ago would you say this was?
2 years, 3 years ago. Yeah, something like
not
that.
Not that long.
No. I think I didn't stop busking until, it wasn't last summer, but the summer before that, I was still busking. I had a couple like bar gigs, but I hadn't had anything serious yet. And
tell me what it was like to go from busking to playing on the road.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, I got to open for a guy that I've admired since I was a little kid called Aaron Lee Tazjan. I don't know if you know who that is. And, I mean, he took me out, and I mean, I got to go to Minneapolis and Appleton, Wisconsin. And, I mean, I got to play for people that were eager to hear music, you know? And, I mean, I gave t-shirts out that I spray painted on, you know? And like, people were like so excited to, you know, see me playing songs. You know, I never thought people would be so happy about it. And I just, as I've done it more and more, it's so crazy. Like, I get to open for bands that like I love, and it's, I think a guy, myself a couple years ago, would be like really thoroughly like, wow, I can't believe you're doing that. And I beat myself up about it. I take it for granted way too much, I think, sometimes.
No, I mean, you seem to be able to kind of capture a moment for yourself and really take advantage of it. And I say in the best way possible.
Thank you. Yeah.
That, and to go from not even knowing how to play the guitar, you know, what we could say like 10 years ago, you probably didn't know how to play guitar.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
You didn't know how to play guitar. You didn't know how to write songs, or at least you were kind of in the process. You were in the beginning stages of writing songs.
They were not good songs.
They were
those
horrible. First songs never are, man.
No.
They never are.
No.
and the tenacity that you had to see one of your all-time favorites.
Yeah.
And that's opened so many doors for you. That's incredible.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, like I get asked all the time, how did you meet Ben Queller? And it was like, well, it took like 5 years of pestering him to the point of not stalking, you know?
Yeah.
Right on that line.
It's a very thin line, but you seem to have managed it quite well.
Yeah. But I mean, I've been so grateful for the things he's done. I mean, he's introduced me to Rhett Miller, the old 97s, who I'm a huge fan of. Bob Schneider. I don't know if you know Bob Schneider is. And like, I've gotten open for these guys now, and like, I can call them if I need anything. And
wow.
Yeah, I mean, like, some of the guys I'm talking about recording with for the next record that I'm thinking about throwing around, I wouldn't even have a conversation with if it wasn't for Ben Queller.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's willing to go to bat for you like that he's like, go ahead, drop my name.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's one typically making the phone calls, if I'm being honest.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
that
really
is
cool.
Awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is, honestly, that is one heck of a connection to have.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so grateful that I get to call him a friend, to be honest.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's been an Indy darling.
Yeah.
And he's become a wildly successful producer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
he produced your first album, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. That was, he can play every instrument you can think of. It's crazy.
No, it's good to have those kind of people in your back pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they're not Ben Queller.
Right,
you know,
right. I know.
If you got someone who can do that, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So what has it been like for you? I mean, since you've been able to play around the Midwest, you've opened, like you said, for some of the bands that you absolutely love. What is it like to go outside of Indiana and then come back? Because you've already played a show at the Hi-Fi Annex earlier in 2023. And as this is airing in February, you played a show in December at the Hi-Fi.
Yes.
What is the indie scene like for you?
Yeah. I mean, I say this with the kindest of words, but there's not a ton of musicians in Indiana that I know of. There's musicians enough that people can find new music, but it's not like Nashville where you could go anywhere any time and you'd find somebody new. And I think I'm a little desensitized with the fact that I live in the music side of the world, like even online, so like I'm always stumbling upon people new. And the thing that I really love about Indiana is that they're so grateful for the musicians that are here. Like people love Joshua Powell, like you mentioned him earlier.
He's a local legend,
right? Everybody, I genuinely, that's the way I would describe him. And I mean, like, people hold some of these musicians in very, very high regard around here. I mean, like Lily and Madeline just did a Lo-Fi Lounge show, and they sold it out.
Yeah, no, it seems as if there is when we're able to get behind an act here, and claim them as our own, that we really will.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember, so I grew up. I was born in '78. I'm a child of the '80s and '90s, and so I remember when the Y Store was, and I've probably mentioned these guys a bunch of times on this show, but they were huge in the '90s.
No,
and well, they were huge here.
Yeah,
and I remember, when Bob and Tom were still actively mentioning Indiana in their broadcasts. Now they have to be a little bit, they save that for like a special 15-minute section at the end of the show. But they would regularly play in the middle of their show, the Y Store.
Huh.
And so that's how I first heard them. And it was like, everyone was really like, the Y Store, they're ours.
Yeah.
And when they signed to MCA, we're like, they're ours. And I mean, I know that there are other acts that have come from Indianapolis and in Indiana, but it seems like when they leave Indiana, they kind of forget.
Yeah, sure.
So I think, a lot of us hope that, the one day, Joshua Powell's played all across the country. But that, I know I've had Joshua on the show previously, and I mean, he loves Indianapolis. He's originally from Florida, but he loves Indianapolis.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, he definitely counts this place as home. So I hope you do too, even though I know you're from Bloomington.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't forget us back here in Indiana.
Yeah. No, I won't. I don't think I'll ever be able to do that.
So tell me real quick, we're about to take a small break.
Yeah.
So that we can listen to one of your songs. What's the first song that you played for us tonight?
It's called Cecelia.
All right.
Yeah. Cecelia, like Cece, with 2 E's instead of 1 I. I know that there's a Paul Simon song called that.
Yeah.
I'm well aware.
Now, I've definitely written some songs that have similar title. Titles from someone else, and I'm like, no, it's not from them.
Yeah. Well, I was writing this song about this guy who's in love with a girl who works at a strip club. And I don't know why, but I came up with this idea of my head about this guy who's just like, he's confessing his love to this girl. And for some reason, that just seemed like kind of a cool idea to write a perspective, like from his perspective.
Yeah.
And the girl seemed to have to be called Cecelia.
All right, yeah.
It just is like, I think that's the name. I watch New Girl. Do you know New Girl?
Yeah.
And there's Cecelia's on that show, and I always thought she was very sexy. So that's where it came from. Nice, shout out Hannah Simone.
Nice. Love the reference.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to hear a tremendous song, Cecelia, from Connor McLaren. We'll be right back.
I wrote this song about a year ago.
Down at the dollhouse, where I get a shot for free, I drink so when Cecelia comes in, I won't look down at my feet. I breathe in the air, the sewer smells, my coat can't keep away the hell. But soon I'll be with my honeybee, my angel, my true love, no woman's as divine. Yeah, she's so one of a kind. She blows so much of my mind. She knows that she's one of a kind. Tennessee's Cecelia. Her glow is bright as it exercise. My angel, my true love, the story in her eyes. Yeah, she's so one of a kind. She blows so much of my mind. She knows that she's one of a kind. Cecelia. The curtain scuffs, the music muffs, and now it's just me and Cecelia. Oh, how I've missed this room. I'm sorry, but I love you. And I'm sorry if you don't. Well, I had a dream that you quit and got away from all these perverted pigs and moved right into my home. My angel, my true love, oh, give me some more time. Yeah, she's so one of a kind. She blows so much of my mind. She knows that she's one of a kind. Cecelia. Cecelia. Cecelia.
And welcome back. We are here with Connor McLaren. You just heard the great song Cecelia. That will be on his forthcoming album or EP. I guess it kind of depends on what you got planned.
Yeah.
So you're in the studio now.
Yep.
What are your plans for following up Innocence?
Yeah. Right now we're making a record that's a lot more of just like a couple people in a room performing.
Okay.
I really want it to feel like you're either sitting with me in my bedroom or you're sitting with me at a house show listening to me play. That's kind of the vibe that we're going for, is really just to really grassroots, just trying to make it feel like you're just listening to a band play or listening to me play.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really been using a click, which like I know is kind of really against the rules, but I've been playing with the guys I play with for so long, and I like to flow with the BPM quite a lot. So we've been trying it, and I think I'm not for certain, but Paul Mahern's been helping me out a lot with getting it recorded. From Zero Boys. I don't know if you know him, and I think he's going to help me with making it sound a lot better than just like a voice memo of a band practice, I guess. But it's cool. I really like the songs I've been writing. I've been thinking about like really the crowd I've been playing to for the last year or so, and
have you been playing some of these songs out?
Yeah, and they do so much better than the first record too.
Really?
Yeah, the stuff which has been really reassuring, to be honest, like, because I constantly question, like, am I getting any better at this? But those songs do a lot better than the first record. So
that's incredible, because I was listening to the first record again, which, if you haven't checked it out, it's Innocence. It came out in March or April.
April, yeah,
April 2023, and I had to say, so when the first track, Cliche,
yeah,
that's a fun track to start with.
Yeah,
and what's funny is that I heard it gave me, and I don't mean this negatively because this song gets so much crap, and honestly, it deserves it. But the song Obla Di Bla Obla Da,
we referenced that.
Yes, but it sounds so much better. I'm like, if the Beatles could have written Obla Di Obla Da better,
yeah,
it would sound kind of like this.
Yeah.
And which I have a love-hate relationship with that particular song. There are sometimes I just absolutely adore that song. And sometimes I'm just like, this is stupid.
The White Album is that in a nutshell, kind of.
Exactly. But then you hear some of your other influences come out, and especially in Candy Rain.
Yeah,
Candy Rain. That's where the Liam Gallagher really starts coming out.
Yeah.
And the more I listened to it, I was like, that definitely had like an early Oasis vibe. That to me seemed like an outtake from Definitely Maybe or What's the Story, Morning Glory. It had that kind of vibe to me. But you didn't stay in that particular lane. You really kind of, I saw that you kind of referenced Todd Snider, who's a great singer-songwriter.
Oh my gosh.
The Who.
Yeah.
And so you can feel some of these influences coming out, and I feel like that's kind of the way first albums go. It's like you're just oozing out all the people that influenced you over time, and it's like by the time you get to that second one, you start coming out.
Yep, I would 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been I love Oasis, and they've been my favorite band since I was like 15 or 16. And I have a younger brother, and we kind of have a similar dynamic. Mm-hmm. He's Liam. But no, he's not going to listen to this, so I'm in the clear.
I was going to say, Liam's kind of the bigger dick.
Yeah. Recent years, it's been kind of flip-flop.
It really has, actually.
Noel's been kind of weird.
He has been.
I saw him perform, and Noel was amazing. Liam left after playing 4 songs opening for The Who. So,
I'm sorry, that just seems typical. Liam.
Right? Yeah, he was cussing out the lights guy, and then he just left after he did Wonderwall. It was just like, screw you guys. But I love that band, but with this new record I've been making, I've been trying to... I was talking with my buddy Aaron Lee Tasjan, and he said something that just really resonated with me, and he said, you're never going to be as Liam Gallagher as Liam Gallagher. He's like, you got to be Connor. And I think that there's great things that are great about my voice that Liam does, but I've been really trying to find my voice, I guess, vocally and just lyrically. And Todd Snider, you mentioned, like, the first record's great, but I really feel like I've been working on the words, like trying to add a little sense of humor always in every song, even the saddest ones. And I fell in love with Elliott Smith since I started making the second record, and he's really taken over with my influence of just, I don't know, for a while I was really scared to just sit down and just record a song with just a vocal and a guitar. I think for that first record, I don't think I would have done that, but for this one, I very much want to do that because Elliott did that, and I love Dylan, and Dylan did that, and Todd Snider, and the first record, I love it, but it's very modern sounding, and I was trying to kind of do a modern twist on what I think I can do, and I think now I have to make the Connor McLaren record.
Yeah,
it's kind of what I need to do next. Whatever I make next to be like, when people ask, what does he sound like that's the thing they can put on, is like, well, this is so Connor.
Yeah.
Not saying the first record isn't, but
no, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that. So I have an album out myself.
Yeah.
And it's chock full of everybody I listened to growing up.
Oh, cool. What kind of music is it?
I call it alt singer-songwriter.
Okay.
Or basically, if the Foo Fighters met Simon and Garfunkel.
Okay. Cool.
But it basically, covers, 90s alternative to folk music to... I have an instrumental that's just acoustic guitar and strings.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so it's kind of, I wouldn't say all over the place. The track listing is incredibly important. I don't know how much people put into track listing these days because we're such a singles-based society.
Sure.
But I find track listing very important.
It was huge for me.
Yeah, no, I think as artists, we still kind of think that way.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, the first album flows the way it's supposed to, and it does what it's supposed to. But yeah, you can pick out this song and be like, oh yeah, that sounds like the Foo Fighters, or that sounds like Alice in Chains, or that song sounds like REM, or that song sounds like this. And but I've purposefully, as I've been working on my second one, tried to not do the first album.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like what you're saying about the stripped down, the Elliott Smith influence, because one of the influences that I'm taking into this recording is Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah.
And Punisher takes so much from Elliott Smith because she's a big Elliott Smith fan as well.
Yeah.
So that leads me to this question, which only a few people will probably understand this. Do you plan on using like a rubber bridge kind of sounding guitar for?
Ooh. To be honest, the sound
that's kind of popular right now.
Yeah. No, I think the sound we're gonna go for is like neutral milk hotel.
Okay, yeah.
Like just kind of, the goal has been like making the loudest folk record ever.
Nice.
Is kind of because I love Oasis, but I love all these folk records, and the thing that I've always like with Elliott Smith stuff, and even with the not more like twangy folk stuff, Americana, it always feels a little soft almost. I don't know what the word could be, and I
know what you're saying.
Yeah, and I just want to add I want to put a folk song with Keith Moon on the drums, kind of. It's kind of what I want to do, and that's what we've been doing. It's there's so many stops and starts and fills that I've been adding to these new songs, and it's much more acoustic guitar centered than the last record. There's not something I've been telling the drummer is screw holding the beat, screw holding the rhythm. I can with my acoustic. I just be almost like a side thing. I really feel like in the 50s, 60s, and I mean all the way up until the 2000s, that drumming sometimes, and especially early on, wasn't the focus of recording. And right now it's very much get the beat going. And I mean I love how sometimes Ringo wouldn't hold a beat. He was like a chime almost when on his drum kit. And it's been tough to get the drummer to play like that because it's not what's going on right now.
Well, and that kind of goes against what a drummer's taught to do.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I know.
So I got to ask, I mean, with this different direction that you're taking with the second album, has that led to going back to songs from the first album and kind of recreating them?
Yeah,
to
totally.
fit the vibe of maybe not, I don't want to say the next album, but the show.
Yeah.
So when you do a show, it feels like a Connor McLaren show and not, Connor McLaren playing Oasis.
Yeah. I would say that what I've been kind of discovering is after I released this record, or since I've had that recorded for the last year and a half or so, I've been slowly tweaking that first record live and making it sound so it works better live. Because just some stuff doesn't,
Yeah.
And I think during that process, I figured out what I really like about just, what I like to hear.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what you said, but kind of the opposite. I found what Connor McLaren was sort of through doing that almost, which was kind of cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
it sort of re-energizes those songs for you then, to a certain degree. I would say.
Yeah. I mean, we add stuff that it doesn't change how the song is. I'm still singing the same stuff, but we add stuff that really adds to the song, serves it, and I think eventually I'll probably record a live version of that album at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like it, but I would love to do it live as an anniversary or something, because I know that record means a lot to a lot of people, at least in Indiana. So,
so tell me real quick, because we're getting close to the end of the show.
Yeah.
You have, presuming a backing band.
Yeah.
Who's in your band?
Yeah, I've got Braden Janes on drums. I met Braden. I started a class in high school that was really similar to School of Rock, that
very
movie.
Cool. Okay.
And basically it was just you meet every day and rehearse with guys, and I didn't know how to play guitar, so I wanted to start rehearsing, and it was hard to get a band together, so I started a class, and Braden was in it, and he had enough equipment to record a guitar at his house, so we started recording every day for the next 2 years, and then now he's at IU getting an audio engineering degree in Jacobs.
Cool.
And he plays drums for me. He's been playing for me for years. And then on bass, I've got Andrew Amanya. He's I think he's 23 or 24, graduate from IU, and just cool guy. He's got the best mustache. And then I've got Ben Jackson on lead guitar. He plays lead guitar for Hank Ruff. I don't know if you know who Hank Ruff is. And he's a professor at IU, and he does a lot of arrangement himself, so he's been such a nice help for kind of guiding the feel of a song sometimes, because I can't read music or anything or know at all how to speak vocab to musicians. I can just kind of talk as a songwriter, so he's really helped me with that. So, but those are the guys. It's just those three.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. Well, before we close out the show, I want to close it out with another performance that you did. What was the second song that you played for us? And by the way, there's a special third one, but you gotta that's bonus material. All right, you got to keep an eye out for that one. So what was the second track that you played for us? And this will also be featured on the second album.
I think so. Yeah, it's called Peas in a Pod. I wrote it driving in my car. I just was like driving and suddenly had 2 verses done basically in like 3 or 4 minutes, and then the chorus came out when I got home, and that's the song. Everyone seems to really like it. It's really pretty. I always gravitated, like Lizzie's kind of like a Hey There Delilah, or like I Will Follow You Into the Dark kind of thing, where it's like, I really love Yesterday by the Beatles, and that kind of song is kind of like that, and I think it's very natural for me to do one of those songs justice. Everyone likes that one. I think it'll be one of the first, if not the first single off the next record.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Peas in the Pod, that's what's going to play us out. Stick around for that song. Tune in again next in a couple of weeks, because I got to remember, we're not doing this as often as we did last year, but the shows, we're maximizing the time. You guys are getting quality content from the artists that are here. So here's Peas in the Pod. Thanks you for tuning in. Connor McLaren, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Josh. This is really cool, man.
It's been awesome having you. I've loved getting to know you and to get to know what's coming on in the second project.
Yes.
That's very exciting, very exciting. And we'll be back next time. Stick around for more.
Her mystic hair, her pretty face, her loving stare, her trippy place, her stupid cat, her hopeful brain, her welcome mat, covered in stains, her love for him and his for her, finishing each other's words. She had a hold, a mother's touch, he had a soul full of guts, and they're just 2 peas in a pod, grown from a wink and a nine, living on a stone that's rolling down the block. It's 2 peas in a pod. Whoa. His ignorance, his blind faith, his will to win without a weight, his crappy car, his music taste, his constant war with today, his hand there to always take. Is she scared or wide awake? He'd whisper, hey, I got you now. And then her world, it'd turn around, 'cause they're just 2 peas in a pod, grown from a wink and a nine, living on a stone that's rolling down the block. It's 2 peas in a pod. Whoa. She sounds like a Polaroid, he's floating in the wind, and her smile makes him wonder what rom-com they're in. And she listens better than he ever could, but he's full of heart, and his heart's good, like a puzzle in some kind of night. Like they're the only thing they've got. They're just 2 peas in a pod.